the ability to use AI in its various forms to assist us in what we do as appraisers, as lenders, as reviewers. That to me is the obvious and clear short-term use of the software.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
All right, everybody, welcome to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out once again with you in the podcast here. Great guest coming up. First, want to remind you we're sponsored by a couple of great companies. One of them being TrueTrax, the ability to be able to support your adjustments. Find out more at truefootage.tech. That's TECH, truefootage.tech. And, of course, Working RE. Working RE is on the top of what's going on in the industry, which, of course, is what we're going to be talking about today. Find out more by going to their website at workingre.com. I want to welcome back to the program my good friend, Mr. Shawn Telford. Welcome back, Shawn.
Hey, man. How are you?
It's been a minute. I'm good. How are you, friend?
I am excellent.
Excellent. Well, Shawn Telford, of course, is the Chief Valuation Officer within the Collateral and Risk Solutions team at Cotality. I want to talk about that in just a little bit, a little name change. He's worked in the real estate sector since 1993. He is a certified residential appraiser. He contributes to the industry as a member of the Appraiser Qualifications Board, the AQB, previously a member of the Appraisal Standards Board. He's a frequent speaker, panelist, contributor, MBA, University of Mississippi, master's degree, business management, BA and BS, on and on and on. Thank you for coming back, Mr. Telford. You have a new shirt on, friend, a new name. Let's start with easy questions. Why the new name? Why CoreLogic to Cotality?
You know, I love to answer this question because we get it a lot, right?
Yeah, sure.
CoreLogic, as I think most people know, is made up of a lot of different acquisitions, and across the world as well. And so we have businesses in Australia, businesses in the UK, businesses, of course, in North America. And CoreLogic, if you ask people what that name, what they thought about, they thought about mortgage solutions.
Okay.
And that's just one part of what we do. We have insurance solutions for insurance carriers and underwriters. We have solutions for real estate agents, for MLSs. In the software, we have solutions for cost-based items such as the Marshall and Swift that ties with our insurance world. And then we have all kinds of different solutions in the UK tied to banking and finance and real estate, as well as Australia. And so in order to produce a more cohesive and complete view of all the capabilities of formerly CoreLogic, the rebranding was made to Cotality. And so we can associate the totality of our offerings as we move forward as a company, and really showcase all of the different capabilities that we have here.
Awesome. And within that, it is such a big world. Let's. I mean, I talked a little bit about it in your bio, but for listeners, just kind of describe your role. Obviously, Cotality is such a huge company with so many aspects. Try to describe your role, if you don't mind, Shawn, as far as your specifics, because it's not just in the quote unquote total software that you're dealing.
Sure, exactly. Cotality has we all struggle with the change.
Takes a while.
Cotality is in all different kinds of valuation components. So we of course have our appraiser software solutions inside the a la mode and total packages and all of the different offerings they have. We have valuation management and risk management platforms for lenders and appraisal management companies in our CMS, collateral management solution, in our Mercury network. solutions in our appraisal scope solutions. And then we, of course, have our AVM
Mm.
tools. My role in the company is to help make sure that our internal teams understand all of the different pieces and parts of regulation, of how customers use our solutions, um, policies that come from Fannie and Freddie, and then also to help with the product strategy as we think, what needs do we need to fill?
Mm.
How do we solve problems for our clients? And so I get to work across all these different components to try to bring together better solutions, solve real problems for our lenders. I love the fact that I get to go out and talk to people like you and put a little bit of a voice and a face with CoreLogic, I'm sorry, Cotality, and all the different things
We
that
should have a swear jar, right?
yeah, we should have a swear jar. But we have so many opportunities to be out in the marketplace talking about all the good that Cotality can
Mm.
do for our lenders and customers. And so that's a kind of a high level at how I support our teams here at Cotality.
Perfect. Well, let's filter down a little bit. Obviously, my audience is mostly real estate appraisers, and I would say even mostly residential real estate appraisers dealing with total, a la mode, and that process. So, obviously, the big news. I mean, it's everywhere. Every time you turn on any social media or go to a class or talk to any other appraiser, everybody's talking about the new UAD. It's supposed to roll out in September. Let's talk a little bit about that, Shawn, because there's been some real question in the blogosphere. Just to be blunt, are these software companies going to be ready for this? I mean, it's right around the corner.
Yeah. So the short answer is we will be ready.
Okay, good. Good.
As of the recording of this podcast, which is in the middle of June,
Hmm.
we have submitted our files to Fannie and Freddie for their certification process. So
Okay.
what that means is our software is complete to the point where we can produce these new MISMO 3.6 files in the prescribed formats that meet the GSE expectations for submission.
Okay.
And so we're undergoing that process. We will be ready far in advance of the limited production dates where lenders can start submitting, which is September 8th, I believe. So,
Mm.
more to come on the exact timeline. We talked about this when this podcast is posted, maybe, later in July or early August. But,
Hmm.
by then there'll be a whole lot more information that will have been disseminated by our teams to appraisers, to the lending community about our readiness.
I assume with that, Shawn, sorry, I didn't mean to walk over
Oh,
your
no worries.
sentence there, but I assume with that comes some education as well. People like Joel Baker and others there probably pushing out the how-tos. And I think some appraisers have already taken some classes on the new UAD, what it looks like, the process. But walk us through briefly. We don't need to get too far into the weeds, but what does this look like for an appraiser in September versus August? When someone starts to use this, is this a whole new system? Is it a whole new process? All the tools that we've been used to with Total, the smart adjust and the side by side view and the all these great things that we love about the software that we use. Are those things going away? Are they changing? Paint the picture for us.
Sure. So the first answer is no, no, those tools aren't going away.
Good.
They will become part of our solution going forward. So obviously it's an iterative process to get through this. I mean, if we take a step back, Dustin, the amount of time and energy spent on architecting the systems to support this new data format and a new approach to how appraisals are reported. I mean, it's almost mind-boggling when I look at the amount of people that have been involved in this for a year and a half or more to
Right.
get our systems ready. So it's a big deal. I don't want to understate the amount of work that the teams have been doing to get that right. And so all that work is leading up to first we need to make sure that we're able to meet the GSE expectations for how the files are formatted and delivered. And as we do that, and as we move forward towards broad production, the team will continue to add features and functions. But the short answer is yes, the software will be ready. We're very cognizant of our lender partners wanting to ensure that their appraisers are ready and trained on this. And training, of course, has been a hallmark of the quality of the Alamode solutions over the years. And there will be a full suite of training materials and support. I know they've been working closely to train support personnel because we anticipate that there'll be questions on all this. And, to your question about the software, will it be something entirely new? The way that the team has built this, as I understand it, it will just be an update that will be pushed out when it's ready, just like all the other updates. And so it'll be less complex to have that capability. And then of course there'll be the learning curve to use it. But that's how we're going to approach it. We pride ourselves on doing as much as we can to support the appraisers in supporting their lender clients. And so that's where we're focused on getting this UAD update out there.
Wonderful. When we get back, Shawn, I want to dig a little bit into the future and what that looks like. Specifically, I want to chat with you a little bit about AI, and also want to chat with you a little bit about the future of the appraisal industry, especially with this change in the new UAD and some of the comments that have been made by maybe some of the older folks out there and their desires to make some changes. But first, want to pause, of course, folks, and remind you that we're sponsored by a couple of great companies. One of them, speaking of industry changes and industry news, I'll tell you my go-to source, and that is Working RE magazine. Working RE is constantly digging up good information about what's going on in the appraisal world. With regard to the new UAD, multiple articles, easy to read, easy to digest, easy to understand. And folks, here's the thing, it's free. Check them out by going to workingre.com, sign up for their email list, and make sure that you're up to date on what's going on in the appraisal industry. Speaking of the appraisal industry and the changes that are going on, folks, more than ever, you need tools to help you to do better appraisals and to write better appraisal reports. And folks, I've not seen a tool out there recently that I like more than TrueTracks. TrueTracks is the ability to look at your market from a mass data aspect and then pin it down as far as adjustments go and market conditions and market areas, making all of those things that are somewhat complex very, very easy to understand. Check them out by going to truefootage.tech, that's truefootage.tech, and clicking on the TrueTracks button. All right, folks, welcome back. We have my good friend, Mr. Shawn Telford, with us today from Cotality. I paused not because of your name, Shawn. I know your name very well, but I didn't want to screw up the name of your company, Cotality. I got to pause and think about it for a second. I know you do as well, and you're in it every day. Thank you for being here, friend.
You bet.
I want to talk a little bit about some big changes. Of course, we've got the new UAD coming out. There's been, some talk out there about why the delays, and we had been promised this year and then the next year, and it kind of rolls out and pushes out. Some are predicting that even September. We'll see. Right? It's a temporary date, meaning I don't think it's going to be required till January of 2026. So we've got some time to get used to it. And I don't want to necessarily dive into the prediction as to why things have been pushed out, but I do want to chat with you a little bit about AI, and not the Institute, but the artificial intelligence, the other AI, artificial intelligence. It's obviously a big thing in appraisers' minds right now. A lot of them are utilizing it on some level. I've been doing some workshops across the country teaching AI to appraisers and how it can better their world. I'm curious, Shawn, has Cotality, specifically Alamode Total, been in the R&D when it comes to AI? Do you see a future with AI in the software and in the appraisal industry in general?
I would say yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, all right.
All your questions. So So yeah, at Cotality, as you can imagine, we're a large information services company, and how we provide solutions to all of our different client types is a critical component, right? And AI is going to change much of how we all interact with each other, with data, with information. And so absolutely it's part of it. One example I can think of tied to the UAD transition is in our lender platforms, we have rules they use to automatically review the appraisals as they
Mhm.
come in to try to, streamline the process and make it easier for lenders, review appraisers, and so forth. That's a large amount of work, and by using AI development tools behind the scenes, they were able to significantly reduce the amount of time and effort to get those rules written to work in the new UAD format. So that's just one small example,
Right.
but we have many different projects that are underway across Cotality and Alamode as well. They're specifically looking into tools that can help, in similar ways that we could ask Alexa or Siri a question, tools that would be part of the Alamode software to help, solve problems, do things, and so on and so forth. But
Very
you know,
cool.
the ability to use AI in its various forms to assist us in what we do as appraisers, as lenders, as reviewers, that to me is the obvious and clear short-term use of the software of
Mhm.
this AI software. Beyond that, I mean, who knows, Dustin? I mean, there's so many ways that I think smart people will think about how to apply this tech to improve the process and so on and so forth. So I do think it's critical that appraisers take advantage of these tools and learn how to use them and come up with new ways to do what they do to add value to their customers.
Love it. And I love to hear that your company's looking into it as well. As we close up here, Shawn, over my shoulder, you might see my crystal ball up there. I'm going to ask you to look into that a little bit here, looking into the future, because there's I don't want to dice it this way and say, it's so black and white as to there's two types of appraisers. But just for argument's sake, let's say there's two types of appraisers. There's appraisers like you and I who are excited about AI, excited about the future, think that the new UAD is an upgrade, a better system for a really an arcane system that's been around decades at this point. In other words, change to you and I looks positive, but then there's the other side. I've heard a lot of talk in the blogosphere, on the interwebs, about individuals who basically are saying, this new UAD thing comes out, I'm gone. AI becomes a thing, I'm not going to learn it, I'm out of here. What is your prediction, Shawn, with regard to the appraisal industry in general over the next couple of years as these major changes take place?
I, I am very bullish on the value that appraisers bring to the mortgage lending process. It's clear that the role the appraiser plays in that process is changing.
Mm.
It's not going away, it's changing. And so I'm very bullish that there will be lots of opportunities. And the current way that we do appraisals isn't going to change overnight, just like it hasn't changed overnight in the last 20 years. I like to say the first appraisal class I took back in the early 90s, some of the more seasoned gentlemen in the class basically said, "Why are you even bothering to be in this industry? And it's all going to be taken over by AVMs." And I'm
Right.
not making that up. And
Yeah.
that was 25 years ago, right?
Hmm.
It's change is certainly, I can appreciate folks being nervous and uncertain about that, but I'm also convinced there will be lots of opportunities that will change how appraisers do their work, and so I'm excited about that. I don't see. I mean, sure, some appraisers may choose to not participate and continue
Sure.
doing traditional appraisals for the foreseeable future, because
Hmm.
that they will be there for the foreseeable future. And I think others will take big advantage of all these new opportunities. So I don't see doom and gloom. I don't see a mass exodus. I see a change event, and I think a lot of, no one has seen the software,
Yeah,
right?
right,
And
right.
so
Yeah.
there's a lot of, hypothetical, wild speculation on what will happen. And I'm a little closer, and I'm fortunate that I've seen it a little bit. I don't see that happening. I see, a lot of dust, and when the dust settles, we're going to be continuing down the road, and it'll be positive.
You heard it here, folks. Cotality, a la mode, total will be ready. September rolls out. They're going to be ready. So if there's any question in your mind, you've heard the answer here. Mr. Positive Shawn Telford, thank you for being here today, and let's do it again soon, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit TheAppraiserCoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.